Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Kristina Dragovich. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Kristina Dragovich. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Kristina Dragovich. Topping news tonight. Watching our news. Thanks for staying with us. Bushfires have been raging on Crooked Island as residents struggle to protect their property from the blazes. Fires on that island have been going on for several weeks now in different settlements, leaving residents to fend for themselves with buckets and sometimes garden hoses. On the line is Johnny Hill resident Edith Bain. Miss Bain, thank you for joining us. Now, our news understands that some of these fires on Crooked Island have gotten worse in the past few days, and we understand that there's no fire truck on that island. How have you and other residents been battling the fire?
There is a water truck, water and sewage. The guy that works for water and sewage, he uses his truck. He came down in the area here where I am yesterday and used his truck with the hose, with a little piece of hose, and try to wet those certain areas so the fire won't spread. So that is how we've been making it, and along with our personal hose that we have for our gardening and stuff around the yard, we have to use those connectors for several of those, and that is what we have been using.
And also, what about smoke? Has it been affecting the residents there?
Like me, I had to leave from my house and go sleep elsewhere, out of the community, just to avoid some of the smoke. And for the past 2 weeks, I've been sleeping out of my house. We thank God for the little rain that we had last night, and we just taking it from here on, off the road, do whatever we have to do.
Thank you, Miss Bain. Our news will continue to follow this story. Thanks, Dana. Well, immigration and citizenship issues continue to weigh heavily on the population of Bahamians of Haitian descent who say government neglected to give them the rights they should have been granted at birth. Thanks, Jeff. As we mentioned earlier in this broadcast, we are keeping our hands on the pulse of the nation by following the hashtag Bahamas Votes. So far, we've gotten a lot of feedback. One person, Matthew Trotman, says he believes if this referendum fails, it's actually an indication of mistrust by Bahamians toward the government. That's right, Jeff. As you mentioned, we've been hearing a lot of results from the Family Islands as well as Grand Bahama. However, there's this whole island of New Providence. We haven't heard a thing from New Providence yet. And you can see there are some of these geographically large constituencies, such as Killarney. Killarney has 13 polling divisions with more than 5,000 registered voters. Thanks, Bakisha. And as we wait for those results to come in here on New Providence, we want to remind you that we're following the conversation on social media very closely. Don't forget to use the hashtag Bahamas Votes if you want to show up here with our TV and our news. Back to you, Jeff. Thanks, Jeff. You are absolutely right. We are just a few minutes shy of 11 p.m. Just a reminder, the polls closed at 6 p.m. And in the minutes and hours following that, we would have had the ballots being counted. As you know, Bahamians went to the polls to vote on 4 questions.
This evening, Kristina, I know that you're overwhelmed by the plethora of responses that are coming over social media, and you can go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, Jeff. Yes, we have had quite a few tweets coming in. Social media is definitely hot. I'm hearing that hashtag Bahamas Vote is trending on Twitter. You can still weigh in. We will be monitoring this as we head into tomorrow. But when it comes to some of the responses to what we heard just now from Parliamentary Commissioner, people are saying these politicians should be ashamed of their actions leading up to this referendum. I just knew this was going to happen. So there's a general sense of disappointment as we're hearing what's coming out of the Parliamentary Registration Department. Because as we know, a lot of people do still vote along party lines, but others are voting along with the issues. We also saw quite a few photos, quite a few blue thumbs today throughout the Bahamas. And we'd like to see you continue to share these with the hashtag OurChoice2017. You can also go onto our Facebook page, Our News Rev, because we still have a long night ahead of us. There's still so many results to come in, and we want to hear from you. So if you want to make it onto this big board, my big toy, then you should definitely tweet us with the hashtag OurChoice2017. Back to you, Jerome.
Thank you very much, Theo. Great analysis there tonight in the DNA headquarters, talking about their slate of candidates. Tonight we've been giving you lots of numbers, and you've been keeping watch with your sheets, and that's a tradition in the Bahamas, but certainly we're in the 21st century and in the age of technology. Kristina, we're at the big board tonight. Give us a sort of a glimpse of how things are shaping up on this board tonight.
Welcome to the big board, Jerome.
I won't touch anything, lest we have no board.
It's okay. We can finally take a look at the island of Grand Bahama, where we have more concrete results for East Grand Bahama as well as West End and Bimini. So taking a look at East Grand Bahama, we can see clearly how this race has been shaping up. Cooper from the PLP has 1,112 votes. Turnquest is pulled ahead with 64% of the votes that have been counted so far, and Pender has captured 3% of this race so far. So how do you think it's looking? Welcome back. Stories and reports of violent crimes are all too common in local headlines, not only here in Nassau, but also on Grand Bahama. To tell us more about what is being done to prevent this and what we as citizens can do is Assistant Commissioner of Police Stephen Dean joining us in studio. Good evening, Mr. Dean, and thanks for joining us.
Good evening. Thanks for welcoming me here.
So, should we be worried about the level of crime that we sometimes see in the headlines? Welcome back to our news. In less than a month, Team Bahamas takes on a culinary feat defending its title in the Taste of the Caribbean competition. It's all going down in Miami, Florida from June 6th through the 10th. Joining me in studio to tell us a little bit more are team manager Ron Johnson and team co-manager Sheldon Sweeting. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
So tell us, what are some of the preparations that are going into preparing Team Bahamas for this competition?
Well, Team Bahamas has been preparing from January. We've had practices once a week. We are a week and a half away from the competition.
Kristina McNeil tells us more.
It starts with a few carefully selected colors, a few swirls to mix the hues, and you're ready to paint. Sandyport is the home of Big Picture Studios, where owner Janine Hepburn says a blank canvas can help you unleash your inner artist or inner child.
Just this week we had someone who came and he boasted that I've not done this since I was in high school, you know. So it's like bringing out the things that you probably once enjoyed and then using it to enjoy your life now.
There's no experience necessary as long as you have an open mind for what Hepburn calls a form of art therapy.
I think it is a great form of therapy. One thing I really wanted to do was make sure that art could be brought into everyday living for people, because I think it does help you to take life a little less seriously, and that's what it's always done for me. So yeah, people get the opportunity to express themselves in a way that they probably have never done before.
A certified public accountant, Hepburn says she has always been a very creative person, but has only recently found a way to balance accounting and art.
Accounting was the forefront of my life for the last 10 years, but now I said, well, let's switch it around and let's do what brings a lot of enjoyment. And for me, it's a great opportunity. Big Picture is a great opportunity for me to help people have the same level of excitement that art brings me. The background of this beach view. So just taking it from light to dark on this canvas. Lovely, lovely.
The sound of brush strokes is surprisingly soothing as the studio provides the backdrop for creating new memories. It's something Hepburn says Bahamians have been eager to explore since the studio opened on April 8th.
The response has been pretty great. In the evenings too, you'd see the kids in the area, they're peering through the windows, you know, just trying to see more and find out more. So I think that even though it's new, people are pretty excited about the idea.
Although the studio provides complimentary wine during adult painting sessions, Hepburn notes that artists of all ages are invited to sessions that provide complimentary snacks. But it's what participants take home that makes a difference.
And at the end of the night, you'll be able to take home a work of art that is especially done by yourself.
As you can see, this is no paint by numbers venture, and while I won't actually be painting today, if you're in need of art therapy, there are plenty of blank canvases on standby. Reporting for our news, I'm Kristina McNeil.